Welcome to the 115th video in our series on Unix tools. In the 114th extremely long video, I showed live as we can on video, an upgrade of Ubuntu from 2310 to 24041 long-term stable. And at the end, I shut it down. It had asked for a reboot, and of course we can't really reboot and see any results using PuTTY or a secure shell. So now I'm going to show you, this is the first boot since then of the virtual machine, and I'm booting it up now. There is our countdown that I had to ask for the grub timeout style. And at this point you may think, wow, it hung. It's not doing anything. It's broken. And you say, well, check the administrator window. Nothing's happening here. Nothing's happening here. Is it dead? And the answer is no. When you use virtualization, it's quite slow. I'm doing the best I can on a Windows machine, but we see we're up, and Ubuntu says we're in 24.04.1, and this is the actual GUI window from QEMU. We don't normally use that. The mouse support in there, as you can see, is rather terrible. I'm going to minimize that now. I keep it precisely because we need it for being able to watch the boot up or seeing a real kernel panic. So that's minimized. This is my virtual machine window with QEMU, and I'm going to minimize that. Okay, so let's start up PuTTY with our mini notes configuration that's been tuned for the arrow keys, if you remember from an earlier video. And we're gonna try to hook up, and it says, wow, I can't find it. The remote side killed my connection. And you think, oh, it would never do that to me. So let's try the default settings and go for 127.0.0.1.1022, and we're going to open, and the remote side unexpectedly closed the network connection. So this shows you that something went wrong with SSH, and we don't know what, but we can't log in remotely to our virtual machine with PuTTY somehow, and yet we know it exists. There it is. Here this is. You know, we've got our monitor shell. It's okay. This shell seems okay, but it just doesn't want to work. So let's give it one more try, because we're determined. We're not quitters, and it still won't do it. So we are forced to use that GUI connection here and try to log in and debug this. It wasn't a bad password because we never got to type the password. And the machine did boot. Here it is. It's clearly working. But look at this. We're looking for the SSH daemon. No. SSH is not running. Okay, we've got 53, which is a DNS sort of thing, and we've got 25, which I believe is email, but we don't have anything on port 22, which would be our secure shell. So it's not even running at all. And we think, wow, do I see any error messages at all? Can I scroll around? And no, you can't. Okay, it's just a weakness of this sort of thing. Let's type in a D message, and you'll find out, wow, I'm not root, I can't do that. Let's find out if sudo works. Sudo works, and we can do a D message, but you see it just blew by at the speed of light. So we need to do a D message, and we need to pipe it through less. And we're looking for anything about SSH. That's not good. Nothing about SSH. Wow. At this point, you're starting to wonder, maybe I shouldn't upgrade. Okay, we do a process status EF. If you remember, PS minus EF does that. PSAUX shows pretty much the same thing in a different format, but there is nothing about SSH anywhere on the system running. It's just not running. And so at this point, you're going to ask yourself, well, why does this happen to me? Why does this have to happen to me? And I can't answer that question. We did say take the original people's SSH file, if you remember when we answered the questions. So we didn't have a custom SSH configuration. So I need to concentrate and type here. Okay, Ubuntu 2204, but is that what we're working with? No, we're looking with 24041, so I need to refine my question. 240401. SSH service fails to start, but you can look at this and see that's 2565. That's old. Join OpenSSH failing with Ubuntu 2404 from 2567. And this is from some teleport join, system control restart SSHD does not work anymore. Okay. And they say, do this. So let's read the Reddit. Reddit's not a great source, but every once in a while, it's what you got. Systemd unit file was always called SSH service. Client doesn't need a service. D is excessive. Blah, 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 blah. So, what are they telling us? It doesn't start the SSHD. System control restart SSH. So let's try that. System control start SSH. Job for SSH service failed because the control process exited with an error code. See system control status and journal control blah. Oh man, come on. So let's try the journal control. This is how you read log files because Ubuntu decided to get too fancy. And you can't just use VI. And you know me. If I can't use VI, I'm not happy. But there it is. There might be a lot. Let's pipe it through less and hope we get something. Go to the end with just Shift G. Okay. The SSH service has entered the failed state with return exit code. Failed to start. A job for unit has failed. Yes, I know it failed. I can't get it to work. Start request repeated too quickly. Restart counter is at 5. Exit code. Okay. Error while loading shared libraries. librap-so cannot open shared object file. No such file or directory. Okay, we got something we can actually look at. Something's wrong about librap.so.0. Okay, it says it can't load that library, so bummer. And they tell you the file is still called user sbin sshd. So ldd tree user sbin sshd. Yes, look at this line. librap is none. That's not good. I mean, that's really bad. So, what can we do? Well, we'd like to think it's in lib, or it's in user lib, one of those. And then let's do let's do a name, and then we need librap something or other. Do we have any kind of librap anywhere? We don't have librap anywhere at all. Oh, I feel bad. Let's do a quick ping on the Google DNS backup system just to make sure we've got some networking. We do have networking. So let's do a apt cache search librap. There is one, librap 0. So apt get install librap 0. Okay, what in the world is going on here? Unmet dependencies. Depends on this stuff. But it is not going to be installed. Recommends that, but it is not going to be. Recommends that, but it's not going to get installed. They said apt fix broken install. Okay, fine. Apt fix broken install. And now it says, yes, I'm going to go get librap. You know, at this point, I'd like to use foul language. But I don't know if young people from high school are going to watch this, and they don't need to know that kind of English just yet, although it's on the radio every day. I'm not supposed to use it. So I'll use a good one from the Mork and Mindy show, Shazbot. Yeah, you have to look that one up. Okay, we've done the apt superfix thing. Let's go back and try to start SSH. We don't have any error message. The return code is 0. If we look, there is somebody listening on port 22. Look at that last line. I can't get the mouse down there because, like I said, the mouse support in here is truly abysmal. This is a weakness of this virtualization and why we don't like to use it if we don't have to. They'll tell you, run the GUI, but anyway, it says it's there. Let's leave the window open while we're still root, while we can still do stuff, and let's try our mini notes again. Okay, and yes, 10022. That's because of. Let me see if I can find it. Somewhere, yes. That's because of my virtualization. Okay, so that's really the right port to put here, and it gets remapped to the 22 in here. Okay, so now I've got, there we go. Ready? Open. Ah, we got something. We got our normal message. Life seems to be better now. At least I can log in. If I can log in, that's always a good sign. And clearly, we now understand why the installation gave us the error message at the end of the previous video that we said, oh, we'll just ignore it. something happened on the lib wrap. It could have been that download failed. We just don't know. But life looks good now. So let's do a sudo bash. Do an apt-get update. And of course, there shouldn't be anything, right? Because we just installed. But you never know. Yes, nothing's there. Okay. We probably ought to do an update DB to rebuild our locate search database now that we've done all this stuff. And that's going to take a minute. So while we wait for that, I can come over here to this guy and I could say, I don't need this right now anymore. I don't know if that's going to automatically start when I reboot or not. And that's pretty critical. So let me log out of here and log out of here. And I'm going to reboot this guy. And of course, if you try a reboot, QEMU's not going to be too thrilled about it on the Windows system. So let's do halt. And we'll run it again. Okay, and there's our countdown, which would give us time to go into the grub menu if we really wanted to. If our boot was broken. And this is that scary pause in the middle where there's nothing on the screen, there's nothing down here, and there's, you know, the question in your mind, is it dead? Is it dead? Is it dead? No, it's not dead. It's just that slow. I mean, I am working on Windows, right? So you can't expect too much. All right, that's up. So minimize, minimize. Let's see if the SSH started or not. Are you ready? Come on. Be brave. Hit the button. Yes, SSH started. So our SSH problem is solved. We don't have to change any configuration files. It was just that the librap0 somehow didn't get installed. And at this point, when we look at this stuff, they're still giving us a commercial every time we log in, which I think is pretty annoying. And then here's another one. Hey, join up, join up, join up. We want to track you. We want to know everything you're doing. No, thank you. But we are on 24.04.1 now. Let's see if anything changed. Okay, we're on kernel 6.8, which is reasonably new. We've got GCC 13.2. If you don't know it, 14.2 is current. And if you wanted to know, what's the current Linux kernel, you would see that 6.10.8 is the current kernel as of today, September 4th, 2024, when this video is being made. So they've got 6.8. This stuff is still not brand new, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And it's newer than what we had. Okay, and the Clang, again, 18.1.8 is the current version. And they're on 18.1.3. So we're still 6 months, 9 months behind current. But we're running the latest version. If we had a problem, if we wanted to get help, if we searched on the net, this is the current version. Most people will use it. Most people who are going to answer a question are going to answer a question about this version of Ubuntu. And in this two-part series, which is drug on long, I'm hoping you're not upset with how much time it took, but we have gone through an upgrade. We've gone through debugging the reboot where the SSH did not start because librap was not there. And that would have happened even if we had rebooted on real hardware. If we had the same problem, we'd see the same thing. You know how to diagnose it. It turns out that they are helpful, and they told us to use the journal control. And it wasn't the last message, but when I hunted around, I was able to see the error about the librap 0. Then we looked for it on the computer. It wasn't there. And then we tried to install it, and it said, no, do the fix, broken thing. And we did it, and sure enough, everything came out fine. That's life in the Linux world. The Apple people will tell you, oh, our upgrades are smoother. I've had an Apple update crash before. And the Windows people will tell you, oh, Windows never has these problems. Everybody has these problems. Operating systems are complex. Each person tweaks it and installs different packages, and there's no way to test every possible combination. Not only that, you get transient failures like some kind of, one package out of 6,000 packages or whatever. One package broke the librap, and that took out SSH and we couldn't get in. So there it is. I'm done with this video. Our next video will not be about upgrading Ubuntu. I've shown you everything you need to know. And you notice that even I'm supposed to be the professional, I still have to go search on the internet to find stuff, but it didn't take long. I got that on the second hit. So, come on. Bookmark it and move on. I want to encourage you to come back for the next video. The next video will be our normal, shorter format. And until then, enjoy your upgraded Ubuntu. Thank you for listening.